What is your main skill? Are you a screenwriter, a director, an editor, a DJ, an artist? What's the main?
Yeah, it's weird, right? I don't even know. You know, like I was let's say like I was a DJ forever. I have a record label with my wife called World Domination Records, and we have World Domination Pictures. And I pursued being in bands for many years. One band was called Rise NYC, and it was produced by Jim Sclavunos from Nick Cave and the Bad Seed.
Gary, you mentioned your film company. Is this Film on Film Entertainment, the same as your YouTube channel? Yeah, I've been watching quite a few of your films today on the YouTube channel. I'll put a link up on here on.
That's right.
Yeah, I was going to say one of them was set in Liverpool. Have you visited us a couple of times? That was during the Capital Culture Year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so they had Disability Arts Online, and I got paid to go to Liverpool, which was amazing. And I made an art film. It was it Dada South? It was the Liverpool. It's one of the disability arts festivals, and there was a load of money on that time. It was kind of not long before the Olympics, so there was quite a bit of cultural money, and it was great. And I got to make an artist film about all the other artists, and my work wasn't in there, but I still found a way of getting in there by making this film and being commissioned to make a film with Disability Arts Online.
And I was very lucky because originally these were just going to be shown to like stakeholders, but the military had a cable network called the Pentagon Channel, and they were looking for content that they felt was good and helpful to the country. So they were, so they ran these films and they won some Emmys when they appeared. But I'm not an Emmy winner because the writing never won, but the films. So I wrote Emmy-winning stuff, but I am not an Emmy-winning writer.
Yeah, but it shows you part of that quality, doesn't it? And must be a great job on the CV. Yeah,
it's very proud. I wish I bought. I should just send in because I do not actually have the Emmy. But I wish I did, so I should order one because if you order it, they'll send you one with the what it's for on it.
But without your writing, there'd be no Emmy, there'd be no production. Well, unless somebody else wrote it, of course.
If you've gotten the interest of a major Hollywood player, then you'll get into the Writers Guild, and then they have sort of floors and minimums, right? So and then if you're working at that level, you'll be able to get representation. If you have somebody who's, if Netflix wants to buy your screenplay, you can call up agents and go, hey, Netflix, I need help closing this deal. Netflix is, and you'll have an agent in an hour. I mean, those are the deals that are easy to get, right? What the agent doesn't want is, hey, I've got a cool idea. It's going to be great. Everybody's going to love it. Then they say,
do you think, this is a bit of an open question, but do you think screenwriters get the credit they deserve?
Oh, wow. Now that's one of the reasons actually I started my blog. Was I got so sick and tired of these news articles that would come out and they'd mention the director, the producers, the actors, the assistant directors, the craft services, and they wouldn't even mention the screenwriter. And so I started the blog Go Into the Story back 13 years ago. And one of the things I did was I would track articles, interviews and features on screenwriters. And I do that to this day. I've got literally hundreds and hundreds of interviews, video, written, audio, with screenwriters and writer directors, just to do that, to promote the fact that if you don't have a script, unless you're doing completely an improvisational thing, if you don't have a script, you do not have a movie. And that is something that, this has been it's a long history. I don't want to go way into detail on this. I used to teach a course called The History of American Screenwriting. And there's a long history of the diminishment by the powers that be in Hollywood of the screenwriter's role. And it really is, I think, boils down to the fact that screenwriters can do something they can't do, which is create something out of nothing.
Okay.
And that scares them. And so there's definitely been a lack of appreciation, I think, for screenwriters. Now, the people in the business who know how important it is, there's that. But in terms of just the general sort of public, I think that they don't typically think of screenwriters very often. That's more about the directors and actors.
Do you find that your characters in a way come alive? And novelists that I've spoken to I know writing my own book, the characters sort of went off in a different direction. I'd have bullet points saying like, this happens at this point, but the characters themselves would sort of decide as though they're making the decision what's going to happen next. Do you find that in your own? Do you find that when you're writing is, you're in the groove, you're doing well?
Yeah, they take over. Yeah, the scariest thing that happened and regarding characters taking over in this play was the time that I was having a reading, not of this play, of something else. Something else I wrote, an essay at the National Arts Club, and I was trying to, it was sort of before I had a, proper emailing list, and I was trying to think like, well, who have I not invited? Not everyone is in, is on your phone list. Not everyone is in the email. Who am I not thinking of? And I thought, God, I haven't seen Ted Hall in a long time. And I thought, Jenny Lynn, Ted Hall is a character in your play.
That's weird. Yeah. Were you drafted in on a late date for the Scorpion King?
Yes.
So you were flown in at the last minute. They built this castle somewhere in the desert.
That's right. Yeah, so it was The Rock's first starring role in a movie, and I had been writing Riddick and the Hulk for Universal, and then Mary Parent, she was not the president of Universal yet, but she said, look, we're filming this movie in 3 weeks. Can I send you the script and tell me what you think? And so I was like, sure. So they sent me the script, and I was like, it could be better. And so I wrote a 2-page outline and just said I would do this, this, and this. And they said, great. And they hired me. They hired me on a weekly, which means they pay you just an ugly sum of money for a few weeks worth of work. And it was really, really fun. I got to work with The Rock and come up with action scenes. And I got to go to a party with The Rock, which was pretty cool.
It's hard work, isn't it?
Just everybody, I went to this party at this big producer's house, and I ran into Dwayne Johnson on the way in, and he's like, hey, like this. And so we walked in together, and like, it was like Pacino was at this party, and Eddie Murphy, and like all these huge names, and everybody stopped when The Rock walked in. And he wasn't a huge star yet, but he's just such a presence, And so that was pretty cool.
Is he as big as Jason? Is he the same height, or is he just wider and bigger?
I think he's a little bigger. I think maybe he's 6'5" as well, but he's just massive. I mean, just his body is weird. I mean, at the time he was massive. Now he's even bigger. He's a man mountain.
Yeah.
I did the table read sitting between Dwayne Johnson and Michael Clark Duncan, if you know who he is, and he's sadly passed away now, but they were both so enormous. I was like sitting between two buildings, and I was afraid someone was going to fall over and crush me.